Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hola, place it. Me llamo Daniel or dos zapatos.
Today, we're making a very different video, and it's going to be very useful to all of you guys who are into Twitch streaming. So it doesn't matter if you're an experienced streamer already or if you are a beginner. I am pretty sure that we're just about to learn a lot throughout this video. Like I said, this is a very special video because we have our first guest on the channel, who is also one of our favorite streamers. Daniel Kelly's in the house, better known as xTwoShoes. How are you?
I'm really good. Yeah. I'm excited. I'm nervous that I'll say something really silly, but I'm excited.
You know, me and my team, we have a very big doubt. Where does that name come from?
The two shoes?
Yeah.
Oh, so I get asked, all the time, and I really wish it was a more interesting story, but it was years and years ago when I still lived at home in Ireland with my parents. And I think I was maybe 11 or 12. And we had just got our first PC in our house. And my mother, I was like trying to sign up to, I can't remember what game it was, but I was making an account to play a game. And it said, enter your desired username. And I was, I don't know, putting in something like Dan Kelly or whatever. And all of them were taken. And then my mom from downstairs was like doing something and she just started screaming. I could hear her from like the kitchen. She was like, Daniel, take your shoes off the stairs. And I said, wait, what shoes? Like, I didn't leave any shoes. She's like, yeah, your shoes, the two shoes on the stairs. And I went, oh, two shoes. And then it was two shoes was taken. So, I did what any other gamer did. And I stuck a X on front of it and xTwoShoes. So we have my mom to thank for that one.
We definitely have to. Dan, listen to me very carefully, all right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In 2020, you started streaming in your hometown, Dublin, Ireland.
Yes.
But now it's 2022 and things have changed a lot since then.
Yeah.
You're currently living in Dubai. Your channel has reached 6.8 subscribers, 6.8K subscribers on Twitch only, and 10K on YouTube. And on top of that, you just launched your own company called Level Up.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it's obvious that you're on fire right now, but can you never imagine this would ever happen to you?
No, like, and I really never set out to become like a streamer or a YouTuber. It all kind of just fell into place for me. And I don't want to say like fell into place. I obviously like I try really hard, and I think that there's still a long way to go. But the way it happened, I used to, when I lived in Ireland, I went to film school. I have a degree in television and film production. And when I left college, I was working in the advertising industry in Ireland as a video editor and a videographer. And I was doing that for a couple of years and it was going really well. But then at the start of, 2020, we all know what happened. There was no more work for people like me to, go to events or film anything because everything was closed. So I unfortunately lost my job and was, collecting a check each week on the social welfare, and I didn't know what to do. And luckily I had my wonderful girlfriend, Katie, who was like supporting me during that time. And while I was waiting for, the world to go back to normal, I needed something to do. And I started a Twitch channel. Always loved Twitch, always loved the idea of it and connecting with people because, I was kind of lonely during the pandemic, like a lot of people were. And Katie was still working in her job, 8 hours a day, and I just needed something to do. So I started a Twitch channel, and people just, I think I was looking for companionship, and I think people were looking for something to do, and people just started watching me be silly and make jokes. And, fast forward a year or so in, it became my job somehow. So yeah, and then with YouTube, kind of similar to Twitch. I never set out with the goal to be a YouTuber. I just know that when I was first started on Twitch during those first few months, I had no idea what I was doing, and a lot of the stuff I was trying to learn or get right, like my logos or my streaming software or how to market myself, I didn't know any of it. and I learned the hard way by doing a lot of things I think wrong. And about a year ago, I just kind of had the idea of, wow, like I wish I kind of had known some of this stuff before I did it. And there's a load of amazing YouTubers out there who make educational content, but there's a couple of things that I had figured out that I just kind of didn't hear anyone else talking about. So I just said, well, hey, I'll make the video, I'll put it out there. I think at the time I had a YouTube channel with like 50 subscribers that I sometimes posted on. And I just said I'll make the video. So I very awkwardly filmed myself. Like if you watch back my first video on my channel, it like I'm kind of like down in my chair and I'm super nervous and I'm not looking at the camera. And I put it up. I called it like how to actually grow on Twitch in 2021, and posted it and closed YouTube, and then thought nothing of it. And then like a week later, my phone was like bzz, 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 like new comment on this video, new comment on this video. I was like, what the heck? And randomly, I don't know how, but the YouTube, I guess, just picked up the video and it started getting like 2,000 views a day. And that went on for like 8 months. And like the video, I think nearly has like 400,000 views now. And
Wow.
I just kind of thought like, wow, like clearly people want to hear this, and maybe I could make more of these types of videos. So I just started making them every week. And because I always, if anyone has watched my streams, you'll know that I never run out of things to talk about. So I just started making them, and I'm still am to this day, and people seem to enjoy it. So as long as people enjoy it, and as long as I enjoy it, I'm going to keep making them.
This is very interesting what you're saying. Sometimes we want to do certain things in life, but we don't feel like ready enough to, or we just don't find the time to finally dive into them.
Yeah.
Do you remember what led you to start your own channel?
Yeah, I mean, I think as in my Twitch channel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like out of a, I could say out of boredom, out of something to do like during the kind of first few months of everything being closed in the world. But I think I've always had like I've always loved meeting people, and I've always loved kind of entertaining, be it with music or whatever. I just always love the idea of kind of making people laugh and connecting with them, and kind of putting on a show. Like, ever since I was a kid, I've been on like doing plays or singing, or always trying to, get the attention of somebody. And like, Twitch streamers, we are trying to fight for attention. Like let's call it, that's what we do. Right.
I know what you're saying. I feel
yeah.
you,
And
bro.
I think I've always had that. I've always liked performing. I've always liked entertaining, and I get a lot out of that. And I think that's probably why maybe a part of the way I started that, kind of, I have all this energy and I need somewhere to put it, so yeah. I'm just going to put it into
totally
Twitch.
Get you.
Yeah. So I think that's probably why.
You have mentioned in some occasions, and I have it on my notes, that there's so much behind the smiley face of the streamer. And I couldn't agree more with you when you say that it's not just about sitting down in front of a camera and playing a famous game to get views and engage with people. There's actually so much effort, and I would even say sacrifice behind it.
100%. Yeah.
Have you ever dealt with all this responsibility?
Oh, like every single day, and I'm so glad you asked that, because, people see Twitch and content creation like this, just like, oh, it's this dream job where you just play video games and you have no responsibilities, and like everything just falls into place and you earn millions of dollars. And it's like, it's like the way you look at an actor, you look at somebody like Tom Holland, who plays Spider-Man, let's say, and you think, oh, his life must just be so amazing. Like he's Spider-Man. And like, I'm not comparing myself to Tom Holland, by the way, but
we're getting totally.
Yeah. You must think like, oh, this life is so amazing. But like, you only see him smiling for the cameras, and you only see him in the interviews where he's smiling and he's happy. But like, he's probably overworked, ridiculously tired. And you don't see what goes on behind closed doors. And I think from the 4 hours a day that I hit go live to till 4 hours from that, when I finish my stream, nobody sees that. Nobody sees what work goes in when you're not sitting there being smiley and goofy and the streamer, right? Like, it is a very, very demanding job. You're going to be tired. You're going to be overworked, and like that, sacrifice. You have to, especially if you have a partner or friends or all those kind of things, you have to give up a lot to make it work. And I think people don't see that. And a lot of creators, you see this all the time, that like, you know, they burn themselves out. They can't, you know, carry on like operating at the level in which they're operating. So for me, it's really important that like I have to look after, you know, myself physically, but also like mentally as well. You know, it's super important that I tell people like, hey, you know, take a break, like don't stream today, or, you know, if you're tired, go to bed, like get rest, because it's not a sustainable way to live your life. And unfortunately, like at the start, when you're trying to get going, you know, people fall into this trap of just working all the time or streaming all the time, or, you know, grinding is this big thing, you know. Whereas I think, you know, yes, it's a hard job, and you have to work like a ridiculously long hours, and you have to sacrifice a lot, but you also have to look after yourself, because if you can't operate, then you can't entertain and you can't run a good show. So yeah, you need to find a balance, I think, early on as a creator, for sure.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, I think it's like any other job, you know, you have ups,
Yeah.
you have downs, but we all have to learn how to deal with it.
Yeah, 100%. I
What would you
agree.
do if you were starting over your Twitch channel again, but with all the information that you already got? I mean,
Oh,
would you do something different?
yes, I definitely would have. Oh, so many things.
Would you change
I
your name?
No, I think I would have. I keep my name, I think.
Okay.
But I think I definitely would have put more effort into my branding from day one. I think
Right.
I made one of my first logos myself, and then I think found somebody on the internet to do it for $5, and you know, $5 worth of a whole brand is going to look like $5 worth of a brand. So I think I would have put more effort into my branding, and I definitely would have had a better schedule when I first started. I think a schedule is super important for anyone who's starting on Twitch, because when you first start, right, you're so excited about the idea of streaming, and all you want to do is go live and, you know, play games. But I would have definitely tried to look at it from a more analytical point of, you know, what are the best times for me to do this, and what are the best days, and maybe instead of streaming 4 days a week, I'll only stream 3 days a week, and I'll spend that one day a week working maybe on TikTok content or YouTube content, and we're utilizing my time better, as opposed to just being live for every day for hours at a time. Because, you know, really a lot of the growth for creators who are especially streamers on Twitch, it happens outside of Twitch on places like YouTube or TikTok. So I think maybe devoting more time to a YouTube channel, or maybe a TikTok channel or Instagram or Twitter earlier on than I did, I think that would have been much more beneficial for me, because I didn't do anything for the first year of my streaming, I suppose, venture. I didn't do anything else other than stream. I didn't have a YouTube channel. I didn't have a TikTok. I didn't, you know, post videos places. So I think I definitely would have done that much sooner and managed my time a lot better.
It's crazy how social media has become so important, you know, in terms
Yeah.
of marketing. It's so
Oh,
crazy.
it's insane. Like it's very hard for people now, streamers now, to grow as streamers without using any other social media. Like maybe 6-7 years ago when the platform was newer, like yeah, absolutely. But right now, because there's 8.6 million Twitch streamers, right? Like there's
Yeah.
8.6 million people, you know, and it's very hard to be discovered on the platform when there's so many people who want to do the same thing you're doing. So standing out any way you can from the start is very important. Be that, you know, you post funny clips to your TikTok page, or you make great YouTube videos of your games, or maybe you have something you want to talk about, you know. And I think that's the way to do it now. That's kind of like the normal thing, I suppose, when people become streamers now. They know they have to do these other things.
What tools do you consider indispensable if you want to become a Twitch streamer?
Definitely, I love my camera. I think this is a great camera, and I can bring it anywhere with me. It's very small.
All right.
I do think that things like Discord is a really fantastic tool, especially to engage with your community when you're not live. Um, Websites like Twitch Tracker are fantastic. TwitchTracker.com. They let you look at your growth and your statistics and that kind of thing. And then honestly, like all jokes aside, like Placeit have been very, very good for me, because and I've said this in videos, that I'm a really bad designer. And when you're new on Twitch, you know, you may not have the budget or the resources to, you know, make logos for yourself, or pay someone to do it. And, you know, for me now, when I need something like a especially like Instagram stories, I use this a lot for. I can't do that myself. And a lot of the time I can't like pay a designer to just do something for me. So Place It has been such an amazing thing for me, because if I need something really quickly, or if I have an idea, I actually can use it. You know what I mean? I'm able to put something together that looks like I paid a designer to do it. You know what I mean? And that's been really good for me. So there's a lot of other tools that I use, that are more kind of like audio stuff or visual stuff. But it has been fantastic for me just to be able to get something together if I need to do a quick design, as someone who has like the worst graphic design experience ever. If I can use it, if I can use it and make something that looks good, other people can use it and make something that looks a lot better than I can.
What do you think about attitude, Daniel? Do you think attitude is important? Do you consider?
Is everything.
Yeah.
Attitude is everything.
I am answering that question, but I think that it's important. But I want you to know. I want to know what do you think about it?
Your attitude is amazing. Your attitude is amazing, but your attitude is everything, right? Like when you start on Twitch, as I said, there's so much competition. And I, as a viewer of streams, I don't want to watch the person who's, sitting at their computer and they're saying like, oh yeah, I'm not really, I'm not great at streaming, but I'm just going to do it. Like, I'm not good. I don't want to watch that person. I want to watch the person that's like, has a great attitude. Like, everybody, this is going to be a fantastic day. This is going to be a great stream. I want to watch the person who believes in what they're doing and believes in their community and their growth. And look, I get as well that people have off days, and sometimes people, like I have gone on my own stream and I have been like, hey guys, I'm not feeling too good today. It's just going to be a more low energy day today. And I've been honest with my community when I haven't felt nice. But when your attitude to yourself is so important, and the way you speak to yourself is so important, because a lot of the time I get DMs from people and they say like, oh, hey xTwoShoes, like, I really want to be a streamer, but I'm not entertaining, or I'm not fun, or I'm not good, and people don't like me. But you shouldn't speak to yourself that way, right? Like, you should always tell yourself, if you can, that you're awesome, you're incredible, you're funny, you're smart, you're talented. And I think the way you speak to yourself in that way is super important, because if you can, hype yourself up and big yourself up, and, in your head, you're like, I'm going to really make an amazing stream today. I'm going to like do this video is going to be awesome. And so you sit down and you go live and you look at your community and you are full of that energy, that comes through. People feed off your energy as a creator. Like, I know when I'm watching somebody who's super happy and super into what they're doing and very focused, and they're having fun, I'm having fun. You can feel that through Twitch. It's a very strange thing. But I also know that if I'm looking at somebody who's maybe frustrated, or they're not happy, they're not enjoying what they're doing, they're not having any fun, they're just streaming for the sake of streaming, I can feel that through the screen as well. I don't want to, that's not a good thing. And I don't want to, like, I'm not saying that everybody has to be happy all the time. Absolutely. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying that the way you speak to yourself and the attitude and the way you think of yourself is super important, I think.
Where does your inspiration come from? How do you decide the topic of the next video that you're going to make?
Oh, the shower. Honestly, like, I think if I ever like can move into a house, like, I'm going to make sure that like the shower is like the biggest room in the house, because I don't know what it is, but I have this book. Okay. This is my book.
All right.
This is my book. It says The Project Book. And every day I sit there, I open it, I sit down and I have my pen, I open the book and I'm like, okay, all right, let's come up with some ideas. No. And I sit there and I can't come up with any ideas. The second I get in the shower, I have all my ideas. Like, I would say 99% of the videos I've had ideas for I've had in the shower.
Everything I don't know is clarified with the hot water.
Yeah. I don't, but I've said this in videos before. I just really don't think you can force the creative process sometimes. I think if you sit down in front of a computer and you kind of have this like, okay, I'm going to think of five video ideas by 1 o'clock. And yeah, you probably could, but you're going to force that out of you. You might have a good idea, or, you might just give yourself this deadline of 5 ideas and you'll put down the first 5 ideas that come to your head and they may not be good. But I think sometimes when you're just take a step away from the computer, go for a walk, take your mind off it, sit down, watch TV, take a shower, you know, like that's when the ideas I think come to you, because you're not forcing it. And like, you know, maybe I hear something in maybe I hear something in the show I'm watching, and it might say like, oh, that was the hardest part of my day. And then in my head, I'll go, oh, I should make a video about the hardest part of my day as a streamer. You know, like anything you can relate back, I feel can be a good topic of conversation, you know? And I think that's kind of where like ideas come to me. It's just when I'm doing nothing, you know, when I'm removed from the content creation world, just hanging out. You sometimes have good ideas.
I couldn't agree more with you, Dan, I have to say. And you won't let me lie when I say that there's a reality for us as content creators, which is to keep our content relevant for viewers and customers.
Yeah.
What do you do to keep your audience engaged? We already know that you go into the shower and that's how you get your ideas. But how do you keep your audience engaged with that idea that you got?
Yeah, I mean, I try to do like really random things, you know, and like if I just think something's funny, like the other day I showed up on stream wearing this. Is a dinosaur costume, you know, and there was no reason. It wasn't an event. I just thought it would be funny to turn on your stream, and I was sitting there in this giant dinosaur costume, you know. Yeah. But I do like to try and do things like keep things visually entertaining, you know, like things like follower alerts or subscriber alerts. You know, when you follow someone on Twitch, you get the like follow new follower. I like to do a lot of that. I like to play with visuals and like funny sounds and incorporate all that into the stream. And I work with like, you know, some video editors and that kind of thing who like make me these like really cool animations and sound design things that can that look good on the stream. And you know, if for example, like recently we did a Pokemon stream for the new Pokemon game, and I built a whole kind of visual template around Pokemon, you know, and we had like, you know, if somebody followed or whatever, there would be a Pokemon or Pokeball thrown on the screen and just like that. I think you can do a lot of stuff visually and through audio on your stream as well to keep people engaged. And like that, like a little, like, you know, fun events that you can do, you know, like for example, like we do a thing on my stream called Casino Night, right? Which is on Twitch, you earn, the more you watch somebody, you earn channel points. Okay, so let's say you watch me for an hour, you earn, you know, 10 channel points, and you can save up those channel points and you can redeem them for, you know, me to sing a song or me to, you know, do a dance or whatever, you know. So on Casino Nights, people can gamble their channel points. So they'll say, oh, can Dan complete this level in this game within 5 minutes? And they'll, you know, gamble their channel points and whether or not I can complete it. So like just, and then, you know, I'll let them redeem, you know, merch like t-shirts, or I'll give them a game, like I'll buy them a game or something like that, you know, and we kind of raise the stakes a bit. So I think just like coming up with little ideas like that can be fun or original, that might kind of break up the monotony of just playing the same game over and over again or doing the same thing over and over again. So keeping it fun and entertaining, I think, is a big thing for me. Just, you know, anything you can do, big or small, just to change it up is always good.
I want to get a little bit technical right now. What about the equipment for Twitch streaming? You were saying that you always carry your camera with you.
Yeah.
What about that? I mean, you only need a camera, or what else do you think?
I'm a big believer in that, you know, you do not need to go and spend thousands of dollars to be a streamer. You know, most people, like, you know, yes, people go and they buy, you know, nice microphones and they buy nice cameras and all these kind of things. But if you look at somebody like XQC, one of the biggest streamers on Twitch, if not the biggest, 77,000 average viewers, that guy uses a very average webcam and a very average mic. And I think that you can, if you are a good entertainer, and I think that if you're a good performer and a good entertainer and a good speaker, you can do very well on the platform without, you know, the added, let's say, boost of some really, really great equipment. I think the main investment people should make into their channels is to themselves, in terms of learning how to do, you know, maybe learning a new skill that might help you on your stream, learning how to edit video, or learn how to craft better stories, or all these kind of things. That's the main investment I think people should make onto their stream. Or if they're, limited by some element of their technology, then they should upgrade it. But, I typically think anyone who has a basic enough webcam and a decent enough microphone can do very well on Twitch. You don't need a big mic like this. You could have like a microphone like this. It doesn't matter, as long as you can be seen and be heard, or at least be heard. Some people don't even use cameras. And I think as long as you can at least be heard and tell your story and show people your voice, I think you have a very good shot on the internet without going and spending on money on all this stuff that you probably don't need.
Would you say there is an estimated budget for Twitch streamers?
Yeah, I think if you want to stream on PC like me, you would probably need about maybe like $500-600 to get a PC and maybe get a mic or a headset with a microphone and maybe a webcam. I think that's probably in and around the budget. But the thing is that you can always build on that. If you have a PC, you can always upgrade that PC. If you have a microphone, you can always upgrade that microphone. There's no certain level you have to be at to start. But I mean, if you're somebody who has a PlayStation or something, you can stream directly from the PlayStation with just your headset. So I don't know how much a PlayStation headset is, like $50-60. I'm not sure. But, you can start and you can expand when, because a lot of people start streaming and realize like, oh, maybe it's not for me. I'm going to maybe be a YouTuber instead. So, you can get this stuff and expand on it and upgrade it over time.
Talking with you and hearing what you're saying, I think that the most important thing is just start.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah. Just start creating. Like that's one, again, so glad you said that, because so many people like leave comments on my videos and like, oh, hey, I'm going to start streaming in 3 weeks and I'm just waiting on this and I'm waiting on that. And I'm like, just start, just go live. It's the hardest thing to actually do, especially if you're somebody who's nervous. And like people look at me and they're like, oh, you can be really confident. Like, I'm really nervous. Do you not get nervous? I'm like, I get nervous every single day. Like every single time I'm about to go live, I'm freaking out, like, oh, are people going to watch me today? Like, am I going to be funny? Am I going to be this? And you really get that imposter syndrome that kicks in. Right.
Yeah.
But just go live, just start creating. 1,000 people may watch you. No one might watch you, but hey, you did it and you did it for you. And I think that's a really great thing. And I think just going out and doing it and putting yourself out there is so, I think anyone who has the courage to do that, anyone who has the courage to put themselves out on the internet, regardless of whether people will make fun of you or compliment you, I think you're awesome in my eyes. I think anyone who's brave enough to do that is great.
There's a big myth around the growth of Twitch and YouTube channels. In your experience, is it the engagement with your community, understanding about analytics, maybe paid followers, or is it just a combination of some of the previous factors?
I think it's a combination of a few things. I think definitely, understanding analytics and, SEO and the algorithm, or whatever, like they all help. But, I think at the end of the day, I think what really is going to stand to you is your voice and your content. I think, sure, you could understand the algorithm and understand all the analytics and, be the smartest person in the world. But realistically, if you don't have anything original to say, or you don't have a tone of voice, or you don't have a story to tell, right? You can be as analytical in the world, but people won't want to listen to you. So I think, a combination of a few of those things, I think, are like, content first and then let the analytics come second. But I think, again, if you're somebody who's listening to this and you're thinking, oh, I don't understand YouTube, or I don't understand SEO, or I don't understand these things, but I really want to make the videos, just make the videos. You know what I mean? Like you said, like just start, because you've got nothing to lose and you'll only learn by doing. Like a year ago, I hadn't any idea about any of this. And in the last year, I've learned so much that, I can't wait to learn more. Like, I feel like I've just scratched the tip of the iceberg, but, if I didn't just go for it, I wouldn't have ever learned anything. So
yeah, sometimes you have to get it wrong to get it right,
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Now let's talk about money.
Okay.
Is it even possible for a small streamer to live from this?
Yes and no.
Okay. I was expecting that answer.
Can I borrow like $20? No, it is possible, for sure. And it all depends on what you would consider small. I do think that if you're somebody who is just starting out on Twitch, month one, day one, whatever, you should not treat it as a business. Yes, you might earn some extra money, but you really should not go all in on this without any sort of backup or whatever. I kind of started part-time and then it became full-time. So it's very smart to have a plan in place. I do think though that one aspect I really always talk about on my videos, as anyone who is interested in becoming a content creator as a job, is the importance of diversifying your income. So for example, if I know that for me, if Twitch is particularly bad one month, maybe I can't stream for whatever reason and I'm not live, maybe the money from Twitch that month mightn't be very good, but at least I have YouTube to go back on. I also do some projects with partners and that kind of thing outside of Twitch. So, diversifying your income, knowing that like, oh, if something happens, I can't make YouTube videos this month. Well, at least I've still got Twitch. Twitch is bad this month. I've still got YouTube. Whereas, if you are a full-time Twitch streamer and all you do is stream on Twitch and you have a particularly poor month or something happens, you can't stream, you have gone 1 month with no income. So I think the importance of diversifying your income, having some money put away in case of a, rainy day, and planning out your finances, your expenses, that kind of thing, keeping track of all that, very important. And that's the boring side of Twitch that nobody really wants to hear about, is managing all this stuff, spreadsheets, budgets, but that's if you want to make it work at a smaller level, those are the type of things you have to do. Diversification, and don't pressure yourself to make it a business when it's not a business.
And it's important to put the spotlight on that topic, because it's, at the end of the day, it's part of the Twitch streamer life. So what do you think it's essential to consider about a budget, or when you have your first payment, how to handle it?
Yeah, I think if you're somebody who like maybe gets your first paycheck off Twitch and you're super excited, right? Like that's amazing. It's very hard to do. You have to reach the $100 payout threshold. So, it's a great day. I definitely think, if you're someone who, let's say that maybe you have a part-time job, like that money, I would say don't waste it, put that back into your stream, be that into equipment or put that into, a course that you could take to maybe teach you something you might need, or, your tripod on your camera is broken or something. Like it's, put that money into your stream in some way. Maybe you keep it aside for your next 3 or 4 paychecks and you go and you get yourself a really sick new camera or something like that. But I definitely think it's important to unless you're dependent on that money, to invest it back into yourself, right? Or into your content, because it's only going to benefit you, right? If you're kind of getting going and getting out there. But I think as well, like in terms of budgeting and stuff like that, just be careful, and I think jump the gun. If you're somebody who is considering going full-time as a streamer, don't rush into it. Make sure it's stable. You have to remember this is the internet, things can happen, channels disappear overnight. So I do think like, don't, if it's like, oh, you have 1 month on Twitch where you're going, hey, I made as much as my job paid me this month, I'm going to quit my job and work on this forever. Don't do that. Let it, make sure it's doing that consistently for 6 to 8 months before you make that decision, because, things can change. I know a lot of Twitch partners who were full-time who had to go back and their channels just didn't go the way they wanted, so it's a consistent worry a lot of the time, but it's worth it in my opinion.
Dan, we asked in our social media for people to send us questions for you to answer them. So are you ready to hear them?
I'm ready. Yeah.
All right. Number 1, how to find a good balance between becoming an affiliate and making people laugh?
Okay. Well, I would say, the two go hand in hand. If you become an affiliate on Twitch, you've gone as far enough to make a couple of people laugh, I would say. But, I think it's not always all fun and games. I think like for me, I'm somebody who's a very, very silly streamer. I like to make people laugh a lot, but I do think that, people also appreciate the look into a more serious side of you. Right. And like people like People like it when you talk about real things, and it can't always just be, oh, silly, happy, fun time. Sometimes it's like, let's have this like serious discussion. Let's talk about this real conversation. I think people find that. So again, like everything, sorry, I think people find that like nice. So I think like anything, finding a balance between any aspect of content creation is super beneficial.
Okay. So second question. What's the most satisfactory thing about being a streamer?
Oh, I've talked about this a few times, but the way that you can affect somebody's day, I've always said like the most gratifying thing for me being a Twitch streamer has never been like, oh, you can earn money playing video games, or you can do this, or you can do that, or like people know who you are. Like it's never been about that. Like there's been some times where I've gotten messages from people who've sent me messages kind of like privately and not on stream. And they're like, hey, I was having a really tough day today, and I turned on your stream and it made me smile, made me feel better. I just wanted to say that. And like that to me, knowing that like me being stupid in my room here has made somebody who was having a bad day halfway across the world feel a little bit better, or give them some comfort, or give them a little bit of a break from, some stuff they might be going through. That to me is the coolest thing in the world. I think that's just so beautiful that you can, from just watching somebody scream and shout at a video game, that you could kind of be like, all right, it's not so bad. And that to me is like, I remember reading that message and, I remember just crying at it, thinking like, that's awesome. You know what I mean? That, because I'm really outspoken about like looking after yourself and your mental health and all that kind of thing. And to think that, that you can have that effect on somebody from something as simple as playing some games and talking, like that's just so amazing to me. So I think like anytime I get a message like that, that's literally what makes it all worth it for me.
Totally agree with you. Double tap to that answer. I really liked it.
Thank you.
Okay, number 3, are PC gamers really superior to console players?
No comment. I would say no. I would say each to their own. We can, the controller people and the keyboard people, we can all come together in harmony, and it's all right. But if I had to pick one, I would pick PC.
All right. Last question, Dan. Are you ready?
Yes.
What is your favorite game from your childhood?
Oh,
we're stepping back in time.
Yeah. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. So when my dad first bought a PC, my dad first got a PC, like my next year, like the next birthday I had, he got me Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. And I didn't know anything about controllers, or I used to play it on the keyboard, and it was like 1999 maybe, and just I would spend hours, because I was just getting into skateboarding myself, like in my real life. And I just thought this was the coolest thing that I could play, like as Tony Hawk or a skateboarder on the computer. And that playing that game and like getting good at it and getting better at it and completing the levels, and that I think is what made me fall in love with video games. Because I've never been the most amazing gamer, right? I'm not good at games, and that's like no secret, but I always love video games, and I love the escape they provide. And I think I remember being a kid, it's raining out in Ireland. You can't go out and skateboard, and just sitting there and like listening to the soundtrack, like with Rage Against the Machine on it. And
I was going to say that. Yeah, the soundtrack was amazing. It was
I feel like that. I feel like that game like shaped who I grew up into be. Like, listening to that kind of music, like punk, all that stuff. Like skateboarding is something I still do to this day, even though, now I'm a little bit less adventurous because I'm getting older and don't want to, break my bones. But, I feel like that game like just had such an impact on me, from like my music taste to, I even took up the guitar, and, it always has a special place in my heart, I think.
Yeah. Dan, to me, it's clear that you're not just a typical Irish boy talking on the internet. So I'm very happy to have you here, and that we had this chat with you. I am pretty sure that it's going to be super helpful for anyone who wants to become a Twitch streamer. And I do believe in sharing our knowledge with others who also want to enjoy these topics. And to anyone that is curious about this lifestyle, and I'm pretty sure that they're going to be well taught about it.
For sure.
Before we end this video, I
Yep.
want you to let us know about your future plans. What's coming for you? What's next?
What's next is,
It's a
just keep on
surprise.
keeping on. I think
Right.
for me, I'm super happy with where I've gone on the platform, both Twitch and YouTube. However, if it all went away tomorrow, I would be so happy with what we've done. But to me, I'm like, hey, while there's still, gas in the tank, I'm gonna keep trying to grow it, keep trying to make it bigger, and try to make some more people laugh. And just, I would definitely like to just kind of see where it goes in a year from now. And then, in a year from now, I'll see where it goes in another year. I'm living in today, and that's all that matters. And tomorrow can wait. I just want to make something fun today, right?
Where people can find you on social media.
So you can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/xTwoShoes.
All right.
That's TWO shoes, like the shoes on your feet. Similarly on YouTube, youtube.com/x2shoes, and at x2shoes everywhere else, Twitter, Instagram, you name it. So I'm not weird, I promise. It'll be a good time.
Daniel, thanks again for this collaboration. I had a great time, and I'm very sure that all our viewers is going to have a great time as well watching this interview. Thank you very much once
Thank
again.
you for having me. And everyone check out Place It. It's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.